In phase 4 you'll have to face Atlal throne again. This time the robot has considerable more HP and adds some tricks to its moveset. Other than that though, the goal remains the same. We want to climb to its back, and this time we want to destroy this bulb in the center. To get there we'll have to open a path by clearing the debris. This time though, there are more debris and they are more resilient. Keep breaking them and you'll finally get to the center bulb. This bulb is the counterpart of the one in phase 2. Once you destroy it, you'll be able to enter to its throat. And from here it's the exact same as in phase 2. Move yourself if you want, enter its throat and hit the bulb with everything you have. If you deal enough damage, the first hit after the robot incorporates will destroy it, marking the start to Atlalka's last phase. And even if you don't destroy it at your first attempt, don't panic. At this point it will probably be close to breaking, so every hit can be the last one. And in the worst case, every stagger from now on will make it fall and allow you to enter its throat, so keep going at it. In general terms, the approach to this phase doesn't differ much from phase 2. Wait for the robot moves and react accordingly in order to climb to its back. Be aware though, in this phase, Atrulka learns a new move. The robot will do this attack if it rises both its front and back leg from the same side. This move can hit you both with the stomp and with the lines of rock that appears when it stomps, so be sure to avoid them. Also, the robot loves to spam this attack consecutively 2 or more times, so it's the perfect chance to go for the other leg. You can take advantage that it will be idle for a really long time to cause the stagger and climb to its back. Apart from this new attack, be aware that Atrulka will add more layers to its threads during this phase. Let's see it side to side. Its toes also have a refined moveset during this phase. This time, the robot will be able to use all of them, both individually and at the same time, covering a wider area. In any case, as before, by moving to the side you'll be safe and you'll be able to dish constant damage. And that's all as far as combat differences between phase 2 and phase 4. Everything that has not been explicitly mentioned in this section remains the same as in phase 2. So please feel free to revisit the phase 2 section if you have problems with the fight or want to refresh how machinery works. Also, as in phase 2, you can speed up or cheese the process with a ranged piercing weapon. This time though, the bulb will not be accessible at the start, so you'll have to cause a stagger first to expose it. Avoid firing from the side or the metal structures will soak most of your bullets. From here it's the same as in phase 2, just that this time it has more HP. Destroy the bulb, position yourself on the side, and shoot across the throat in order to destroy a Atrulka bulb. And the next hit will advance you to the last phase of this battle.
The final phase of this quest faces you against Atrulka. For this phase, she will add a final tool on his repertoire, a giant wheel that has a huge range. Also, unlike the other phases, she will already begin with the wheel attached on her back, so this time she's ready from the get-go and won't give you that much advantage at the beginning of the phase. Movement-wise, she inherits the same moves as in previous phases and adds a couple new tricks to make this phase more menacing. The wheel has a bigger hitbox than the beam or the Dragonator, but other than that, the old moves remain pretty much untouched. As a quick reminder, they are the throw, claw lunge, swipe, backflip throw, pheromone discharge, Spiderweb Burst, Scattered Threads, Rocket Church, and Dragonator Rain. This move deserves a special mention because in this phase, Atlal cranks it up to 11, summoning up to 6 Dragonators at once. To avoid it, pay attention to the spear tips to anticipate in which directions they will sprint. Now, having recalled the old moves, let's see which surprises stores Atrulka in this phase for us. If she has the wheel attached on its back and lays it on the ground, on her side, instead of a backflip throw she will do a round sweep. She will do a single sweep with the wheel, sending it in a wide circular area around her. At the end of the move, she will reattach the wheel on her back. It's punishable, though it's somewhat faster than other moves. To avoid it, either take some distance and stay out of its range, stay on the opposite side where she does the wheel, notice how the wheel doesn't hurt the hunter when it returns, or use any of the defensive options at your disposal. If instead of the sides, she drops it directly at her back, it means she will do 2 sweeps instead of only 1. The first sweep goes closer to Atrulka, while the second one goes way farther. So to avoid it, take some distance on the first sweep and close the gap with her on the second so that the wheel goes beyond you. Alternatively, stay on its back where it is safe and you will be able to punish her during the whole animation. Or block, or avoid the first sweep and stick close to her to damage her during the whole second sweep. Atrulka summons 3 Dragonators and nails them down on the floor, and then sends them forward in a spiral trajectory. To avoid it, there's a couple methods. The safest is to take some distance and enter between 2 of them once there's enough room. But you can also take advantage that she moves forward when she does the spinning motion that sends the Dragonators moving, and place yourself on her left side, between her rearmost leg and the abdomen. The Dragonator should pass close to you, but as long as you are on the backside, due to the motion of the Dragonator, you'll be safe. To avoid being hit, be sure to stay on her back and on her left side, otherwise you'll get hit. Also, it's worth noting that a stagger will make the Dragonators crumble, so if you are brave enough, you can choose an all-out attack. Much as the rocket charge, Atrulka will launch forward the wheel and stay attached to it, traveling a lot of distance. This time, though, the trajectory will be almost circular, so follow her with the camera to avoid it and hit her on the landing. Once you get the hang of the trajectory, you can pretty much predict where she will stop. Aside from these moves, pay attention to the shadows on the floor. as she can make boulders fall from the sky. She doesn't rely much on this though, mostly when someone is tangled. Keep in mind that she begins this phase with the wheel already attached on her back. Due to this and to the phase introduction video, it's much more difficult to have a head start as in phase 3. Still, she will begin with scattered threads, so try to make the most out of it. Be careful though, after that she tends to do the wheel walk, so try to not stay on its path. And for weapons with vertical reach, try to avoid hitting the wheel, as you'll rebound and do no damage. Remember that she has plenty of animation that leave her exposed for a while, such as attaching tools or scattering threads. Exploit them, keep an eye on her moves and try to punish them without overcommitting. After a while, you will defeat her and be able to claim your rewards.
This battle presents you with lots of opportunities to obtain valuable items such as true armor spheres and enduring charms. Every time that the robot is staggered, you'll be able to mine on its back, and on the inner part of its legs. What's best, you don't even need to sacrifice climbing, as you have more than enough time to mine the staggered leg and then cling to its back. Also, every time that you can enter its throat, you'll be able to mine at the entrance. All the situation is stuck during the course of the fight, and you can even increase your loot with robot part breaks and shinies. There's a special mention for the 3 shinies that Atlal throne leaves in phase 4. If you kill Atrulka in phase 5 quickly enough, you'll be able to grab them without risk. There are multiple scripted pauses that you can use to your advantage during this fight. Phase transitions, for example, give a magnificent chance to move yourself, heal, sharpen, etc. And even if you don't deal damage during the transition, you can use it to fill your bars or prevent their depletion. And things like bolt breaks and even robot staggers give enough room to use a seed pill or potion and resume the fight normally. With some smart jumping, you can skip a few steps in the Atlal throne phases. Independently of your weapon style, you can skip one debris if you jump just a little bit ahead of it. And if you use aerial style, you can use your bow to skip all the debris and go directly to the bulb. Iridescent backshells are needed for pretty much all Atrulka weapons, and they are quite rare unless you break its back. If you have problems breaking it, please consider using mounts. 2 or 3 times should suffice. In that regard, remember that you can use the ledges of the map if you are not using aerial style. Statues are annoying and often leads to dangerous situations. Bring items to combat them. Defense down in particular is especially dangerous and lasts a long time, so bring adamant seeds in case a pheromone discharge hits you. Lastly, consider bringing cleansers if you have space. You can break free of the webs by yourself, but they can come handy in a pinch.
If you want to push your times to the limit, the last 2 tips might help you save a few seconds in a speed clear attempt. See this metal structure here at the right of Atrulka during the start of phase 2? This is actually the robot right leg, which she unburrows first. If you concentrate enough damage, you can actually break it before she finishes to unburrow the robot left leg, allowing you to climb to its back before she even has the chance to move. The same rules also apply for phase 4, but as the robot doesn't appear always in the same place, you might not be in position to exploit it. See this shiny that appears after you destroy the robot in phase 2? It actually marks the spots where Atrulka will appear, so if you anticipate it, you can have a really nice head start in phase 3. By defeating the final boss, you'll get access to its armor and weapons. The armor comes with only 2 skills, Mastery and Talisman Plus. Mastery increases 2 points to any equipped skill. In other words, this skill effectively reduces 2 points the threshold needed to activate any skill. As an example, Attack Up S will be activated at 8 points, Attack Up M at 13 points, and Attack Up L at 18 points. Talisman Plus doubles your equipped talisman points, including any decoration placed on slots. To top it off, the armor by itself comes with 11 slots available. These three things in conjunction makes it the most versatile armor in any Monster Hunter title ever. With just this single set, which is not even that hard to farm, you will be able to make a really nice set for any weapon. But to really make it shine, though, you will need dual skill talisman with slots, preferable with 4 or more points towards both skills. They are still very rare to find, but luckily you can get tons of charms with the Even Brachydios subquest farming, which can be complete in under 2 minutes with a hammy setup. That plus talisman melding on background while you do several runs on that quest should get you suitable talisman sooner or later. As an example, with that 4 hitting 8 thunder attack 3 slots that we got while melding and Atlal cast armor, we can have Thunder Attack plus 2, Air Plugs and Weakness Exploit just from the charm, and still have 11 slots plus weapon to finish our set. Unfortunately, these two skills are only present on Atlal's Ka armor, so you need the full armor to activate them. Not only that, but you can even mix Gunner or Blademaster headgear, as they have different point distribution. Weapon-wise, they all come with 330 raw, 3 slots, 60 defense and natural purple that can be further increased with handicraft. They are amazing, especially for raw-oriented weapons, where they are contenders for best in class.